Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tony Sports Games for our Season 0 finale episode of our Dynasty playthrough series with the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns. Of course, this is, as always, Draft Day Sports, College Football 2026, and a lot has happened. As you can see, we actually have finished up our regular season. I just completed it offline. I would like to get through the end of the season here, so let's focus on our team first. When last we spoke, we were just entering week 11, and we had 4 games left on the schedule. Things were starting to look up just a little bit after a pretty rough go of it early on in the season. Of course, here it being season 0, I intervened very, very little in the coaching in the early part of the season. Hopefully that accounted for some of the better results later on here. We did talk through a couple adjustments we made in the last episode going into these last 4 games here. Now, it went as well as we could have expected. As you see, we won 3 out of these last 4 games. And so after starting 0-7, we finish 4-8, which is about as much as I could have asked for. Now, it didn't go exactly as I thought it would because I had some confidence going into this Texas State matchup that we might be able to pull it out. Even though it was a road game, I really thought they were a little bit easier to game plan for because they do depend on the run so much, having a running quarterback and 2 pretty good running backs. We were not able to get it done in this one. As you can see here on the left side of the screen, we were in position through 3 quarters to get this one done, but we were outscored 22-0 in the 4th quarter, so it ended in a blowout. And I'd say overall they outplayed us quite heavily in this one. Offense, as kind of was the case all year, especially in our losses, but really all year. I mean, let's be honest. We didn't have very good offense this year, and in this one, it didn't come to the rescue. We had 4 turnovers and 10 penalties. Really left ourselves no chances to win the game. We did focus heavily on trying to stop their running attack, and we're fairly successful at that, holding them to 3.8 yards a carry. However, between the 4 turnovers and then actually through the air, they kind of killed us, at least from an efficiency perspective. In a weird way, we stopped Baez pretty well. He wasn't able to get much going on the ground. Really, or through the air, but he got hurt. The backup came in, Charles Stepp, who is probably a little bit better passer and doesn't scramble much, and that I don't know if that kind of worked against us in this one. Obviously, he had a really great game, and on our side, Foles, I don't know, I mean, he wasn't terrible himself, but he wasn't really good. And we got the ball to Jeffrey Salinas a bunch of times, but he wasn't able to do much. So we weren't able to get this one done. And this is the one I felt better about. But then, when we lost that, I thought, oh boy, because I was pretty sure we were going to lose at Old Dominion. But we didn't. We won that one. So we win at Old Dominion thanks to winning the turnover battle 4-0. So a pretty consistent theme in a lot of our games this year. We didn't have a lot of games where the turnovers were equal. It felt like we were either like -2 or worse, or the other team was giving us 3 or 4 back. So, in this one, along with the turnovers that they gave us, we did get Salinas going pretty well, and he was probably the most dominant force in the game. Foles didn't do much. We brought his attempts way down. We became very, very run heavy late in the year, but without looking too much further into it. So we get that one done. Then we came home for our last 2 games of the season. I thought this Southern Mississippi game would be easier than it turned out to be. We barely squeaked by in this one. We got very, very fortunate. As you can see, as I scroll down here, you will see possibly the reason this one ended up being so hard was Fultz got hurt, and in trots Paul Valenzuela, who had been sitting on the bench for a few weeks. And I know he was just itching for his chance at a redemption story, and instead he did pretty much what he'd been doing all season. He trotted out there and he threw a couple balls to the other team. So we tried to keep them in it. Fortunately, we pulled it out late. In this one, actually got Geiger going a little bit. Salinas got 30 carries. I mean, we were just very, very run heavy at the end of the year, kind of out of necessity. We gave up so many sacks this season. Didn't feel like we could throw at all late in the year, but then we have probably one of our better games of the season, the last game of the season against Georgia State. The defense played pretty well, holding them to 261 total yards. We forced 2 turnovers, didn't cough any up ourselves. Valenzuela had, I don't know, was this his best game of the season? There's not really a lot to choose from. Let's see. I guess here, I think all of these included turnovers, but, well, he got the job done. Geiger had 20 carries for 56 yards. Salinas got dinged up in this one, but he managed 62 yards on 15 carries. So we end on a high note. We win 4 out of our last 5 games. We also were able to fill out the rest of our recruiting class, and very happy about that. So we'll spend more time on this when we get to the season flip, but I know we had left off here at week 11 with the commitment of Antonio McNeil. We went on to add a 1-star strong safety I was looking at that I think could maybe become a corner, but we're going to have to wait on that one. We added the defensive end, edge, the strong defensive end, not the speed rusher. We got Paul Cox, the thumping linebacker that we're very happy and excited about. We got Joshua Yeager, the 2-star tackle, who might not be a bad tackle. He may be a pretty good run blocker, but I think we are also going to have the option to maybe move him to defensive tackle, so we'll see. So we got him. We also got a pair of free safeties in Eric Carrico, who we looked at last episode, and then this was a new guy, Arthur Himes, ranked 779. I think I added him on the board late. After our last episode, I went back and added a few corners and free safeties because I felt like we needed a couple more options there. So we add 2 free safeties, maybe to stay at free safety, maybe to switch to corner, maybe one of them needs to be moved to strong safety, because that is probably the biggest hole that I do not really see filled with this recruiting class. Overall, I'm very, very happy with it. We also got Andrew Bradshaw, the pass blocking center. We also got Eugene Levy, the scat back running back, who I think is going to be a really good player for us. And then in week 14, we kind of filled out the offers we had at the time with Lawrence Farrell, an athletic defensive tackle. Not sure if he's strong enough to be a defensive tackle. Not sure if he will play. Maybe he can switch to D-end. We'll see. We get Leo Armstead, the most polarizing player on this recruiting class. As you can see, the coach grades did not change on him. I stubbornly I think he should be a better player than they think. I'm wondering if his strength is low, and because he's very undersized or a bit undersized, if that's why his coach grades are so low. Could this be a strong safety potentially? I don't know. We'll have to wait till signing day to see, but I was convinced all year that this is a good football player. I'm glad we got him because now we can find out. And then probably most importantly, we did secure a quarterback commitment, Greg Enriquez from Puerto Rico. I think the reason this worked out is maybe being from Puerto Rico, he was not able to come take an official visit and watch our quarterbacks getting slaughtered and carted off left and right, like all the other quarterback prospects we brought in. So, not going to say we exactly lied to him, but maybe on the phone calls, the topic of playing quarterback for us being muy peligroso did not come up. And in any case, all's fair in love and war and football. And Greg will be hopefully playing quarterback for us next year. I hope he's a starter. I hope he's a good thrower, but we'll see. Then I had a couple things left on the wish list that I really wanted to get. And I didn't have any scholarships left, but what I did was I went and I didn't go crazy with the cuts. I cut 4 players to bring us up to 25 scholarships for the year. I think that's a fair number. I could have cut way more and accelerated our roster turnover even more, but I used some restraint. We cut a center, a couple terrible guards, and I think a defensive end. And we get our speed rusher, Peter Younger. We got another running back, William Elliott, who I believe will profile a little bit more as a power runner, whereas Levy maybe will be better at outside runs, but we'll see. But I'm glad to get a second option. And then we brought in 2 more guards. Gregory Becker, ranked outside the top 2100, so a lower 3-star, but a good pass blocker. And then Hector Bear, great name for a guard, I'd say, Bear, run blocker. So this recruiting class, of course, we'll see where it shapes up in terms of how good all these guys actually are at signing day. But I think this addressed really well almost all the issues I had, a lot of the issues we had with this team, where we get a mobile quarterback, we get hopefully a throwing quarterback. So options there. We get 2 running backs, we get 4 guards and 3 tackles and a center. So we get a large number of offensive linemen that even if we position change one of them or 2 of them to defense or something, should help a lot of our problems. We get a tight end, 4 receivers, which were badly needed. We get 2 linebackers, which not necessarily desperately needed, but I'm very high on them. I think they're good players. We get a defensive tackle who may or may not stay at defensive tackle. We'll see. 2 defensive ends, 2 free safeties, and a strong safety. Really the only need that I had written down for this class that really was not addressed directly, I would say, is strong safety. We're losing our top, I think, 2 strong safeties, and I don't know if this guy's going to be a good enough tackler to be a good strong safety or not. If this comes back better than I think, then terrific. We got a 1-star who can be a starting free safety or strong safety for us. But if not, maybe one of these free safeties can slide over. Of course, we don't sign any corners directly, so I kind of need at least one of them to be a corner. So as we advance to the end of the year here and then into next season, when we get into the portal, I suppose the defensive backfield is kind of the last thing, notwithstanding any decommits or transfers that we will need to address. But nonetheless, we end the season at 4-8. We get pretty much almost everything on my wish list as far as recruiting class goes, so I'm pretty happy with that. We did not have a great season this year, but we did not have a great team this year. We had a very poor team, and we managed to band-aid and duct tape some things together late in the season to hopefully avoid losing too much prestige. We will have to wait and see on that. But as you can see, we finish 4-4 in conference, which is really middle of the road. Our overall record, of course, going 0-3 in conference play, not so good, but or 0-4, I guess, in conference play. But yeah, not, all in all, season 0 went probably about as we could have expected. And the top teams in the conference are the undefeated South Alabama Jaguars, I think, facing the Old Dominion Monarchs. South Alabama, who of course beat us, and Old Dominion, who we defeated. If South Alabama wins, they should wrap up a spot in the playoffs to represent the Sun Belt, which I suppose would be good for the conference to have a representative there. ULM finishes ULM. I hate even saying it. The disgusting, vile, hated ULM Warhawks, whatever their stupid name is, finished 5-7, 4-4 in conference play, and they finish above us because they beat us head-to-head, unfortunately, but we will take care of that next year, hopefully. Let's look a little bit at some of our stats. I don't want to take too much time on this, but of course, at quarterback, Valenzuela plays most of the year, and he will be gone. He's a senior. Had a pretty forgettable year, but he gets sacked 46 times, so I'm not sure what we expected him to do, but it is what it is. He will be gone. Fultz will be back, but hopefully not playing. Salinas is gone. Geiger is also gone. Sturgis will be back unless he transfers. And the only real thing about him is he's a pretty good, he's one of the better pass blockers we have, but not great. Hopefully the new guys are better. But so they're gone. Salinas, of course, the leader of the team this year with 875 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, 1 fumble in 181 attempts. He really was a pretty fine player, and on a better team with a better offensive line, probably could have had a pretty good season. But we are thankful for his endeavors to help us not be the worst team in the country. Geiger, also a senior, got off to a very rough start this year, rebounded a bit towards the last few games. Well, I guess, yeah, this not bad, not terrible, good, not great. So, yeah, 3 out of the last 5 games, he at least averaged more than 3 yards a carry, so he'll be gone as well. Receiving, a lot of people leaving. Neely is a senior and he's gone. Amato Jackson, a senior and he's gone. Theo Turner, a senior, and he's gone. Our receiving tight end will be back. David Cook. Donald McLean, who only had 4 catches on the year, but he'll be back. Quigley is a senior and will be gone. And Norman Williams is a senior and will be gone. Wait. Somebody will not be gone. Who did I redshirt? Kimbrell. Okay, so yeah, he was not listed. So, yep. Neely, Jackson, Quigley, Turner, and Williams all gone. Kimbrell, McLean, Corral, and Thacker back unless some of them transfer. And 4 new receivers on their way in also. On defense, we lose our top overall probably player on defense this year, and definitely our lead tackler, Jose Billiot. 81 tackles on the season, 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 4 passes defensed, and 10 tackles for loss. He's a senior. Craig Griffin, our top tackling corner, and also with 3 picks, is a senior. He will be gone. Jason Longo will be back. Bruce Griffin, 5th-year senior, he will be gone. And Hughes and Miller, Parker, Eddie will be gone. So 3 out of our top 4 tacklers will be gone. So a lot to replace there. Kicking, Estrada ended up playing the whole year, and he hit 78% of his kicks, 100% of his extra points. Some fine work there, overall, I would say. Both punters played a bit. I wonder if we had an injury, but Fernandez will be back. Both punters will be back. So looks like Fernandez got a lot more work and was probably a bit better, which is what we expected. this was... So I actually did not cut Joseph Andrews. We're going to leave him on the squad. Hopefully he'll be buried on the depth chart, but maybe he gets a chance, if he improves a little, to have a redemption story in his senior season. But he will be back. Salgado will be back. Sturgis, oh, he's a running back. Back. Mayberry, back. Will's gone, unfortunately. Furr, unfortunately, not gone. Cervantes will be back. That's very, very important. Even he gave up 3 sacks this year. So this was just the roughest part of the team. But as far as standout team performances, well, let's just look at the Sun Belt as a whole. So we end 3rd from the bottom in passing yards, last in passing touchdowns, 2nd to worst in interceptions, 4th worst. I mean, a lot of these offensive things are just worst, 3rd worst, 4th worst, 2nd worst sack percentage. Rushing, we end up 3rd from the bottom in rushing yards, tied for 3rd from the bottom in rushing touchdowns. Rushing average on the year, we did some good work late to climb up into the middle of the pack, although it's certainly nothing to write home about. 4th, 5th, 6th from the bottom in terms of fumbles. How about fumbles lost? Now we're, upper half-ish. Mid-pack defensively for sacks. Upper mid-pack for interceptions. Upper mid-pack for forced fumbles. So not everything was a total disaster, but of course we struggled quite a bit. We gave up the 2nd most sacks in the conference. We had I guess we're middle of the pack for pancakes, but basically not very good at run blocking, not very good at pass blocking, not very good at running or passing. Probably the best thing about this team by the end of the year was our passing defense was actually pretty good, 12th in the country. I'm not sure if that's because we were so great or because there's a lot of run-heavy teams on our schedule, but obviously you can see we're very terrible against the run. So that's our first season. That's what we have to build on. Now, if we move ahead to the conference championship games here, we have some playoff spots on the line for sure. Kansas, Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game. Oh my word. Oklahoma State finishes the season 13-0 with a 76-10 victory over Kansas. Georgia and LSU in the SEC title game. I assume both these teams will probably make the playoffs, but LSU wins 29-13. Our future rivals becoming only stronger. Michigan defeats USC in the Big 10 championship game. Again, I'm guessing both those teams will be playoff teams, and the Big 12 teams too. Maybe, probably. So, playoff spots filling in. Now, if South Alabama wins, they're probably going to get into the playoffs. If Old Dominion wins, I don't think we will have a playoff team. And South Alabama pulls it out. So I think they will represent us in the playoffs, but we'll see here in a second. San Diego State defeats Air Force. Clemson 13-12 over Louisville. Florida Atlantic and North Texas in the American Athletic Championship game. Florida Atlantic wins, probably not a playoff team. MAC Championship as well. Akron beats Toledo. I'm sure neither of them will be playoff teams. And the last game, Middle Tennessee and New Mexico State. I'm just going to advance the week. If we go back and look, New Mexico State wins 44-13. Let's look at bowl games for our Sun Belt brethren. Old Dominion against Akron in the 68 Ventures Bowl. The winner is Akron. Old Dominion Falls. Texas State and their rushing attack go up against the mighty Delaware Blue Hens. The Blue Hens in the New Orleans Bowl. And Texas State comes out on top. Baez goes out, ends his career a winner. 188 rushing yards, or passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Is sacked 7 times, but he adds 78 rushing yards as well. So Baez finishes his season with 1,758 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks, and over 1,000 rushing yards. Wow, averages 5.8 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns on the ground. Certainly not Heisman numbers with the lack of throwing production, but pretty productive season for Stephen Baez. Glad he's going to be gone, frankly. And last but not least, we have James Madison taking on Toledo in the Salute to Veterans Bowl. If James Madison wins, the Sun Belt will have a winning record in bowl games. They are underdogs, and they fall short. So Sun Belt goes 1-2 in bowl games. However, we still have the playoffs, and our representatives, South Alabama, take on Penn State in a game they are actually favored in. I wonder what the pollsters are looking at, but let's see if they can do us proud. Nope. Okay. So, hey, you know what? We got a team into the playoffs. That can't hurt, but Oklahoma, USC, Penn State, and let's see, between UCLA and Notre Dame. Oh, UCLA pulls off the upset. So UCLA advances over Notre Dame. In the Cotton Bowl, we have Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Bedlam in the playoffs. What a dream this would be. I don't know if we'll ever get it, but that would be great to see Bedlam again. Oklahoma gets the better of undefeated little brother. Hate to see it. And they advance to the semis. Clemson and UCLA. Did Clemson upset in the first round? No, did they have a bye? Guess they had a bye. Somehow. Let me see the bracket here. Yeah, Clemson got a bye. Oh, because they were the conference champion and we gave the ACC champion a... Yeah. Okay. No, makes sense. That's how I wanted it. I think winning your conference should matter. So, and they proved they belong because they win the second round game. So good for them. LSU, USC. Okay, USC pulls off the upset. LSU probably are going to gain a couple more prestige after a great season, unfortunately. But then we have Michigan and Penn State. Michigan comes out on top, 28-24. Great game there. Now the semifinals, we have... Let's just go to the finals. In the semifinals, Clemson pulls it out over Oklahoma, showing the ACC has some chops, and USC with another upset over number 3 Michigan. So the championship game is the 8th ranked, I guess, Clemson Tigers against number 10, the USC Trojans, and the national champions are the USC Trojans. At 14-3, win the national championship, 29-26 over Clemson. Quarterback, 5th-year senior quarterback, Hugh Castillo, goes out a champion with 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's your season, folks. Now, I am going to just let these be given as the computer chooses, I think. In future seasons, I'm definitely okay with us digging into this a little more, but I just want to get finished here. It's season 0. let's go ahead and wrap this season up. Did we have any all-conference performers? I suppose not, which is probably totally fair. We are on the set red shirts stage, and I just don't think, other than the receiver I redshirted earlier, Kimbrel, I don't think there's any of these guys I want to hang around for another season. I think we'd like to just let this roster gracefully turn over as soon as possible. So we are going to just advance through. Let me make sure the one red shirt I did put on here did save. And it did on Kimbrel. So yeah, we're going to let it ride. Let's advance on through. So we're at the end of the season. This is it. And we will be saying goodbye to, well, let's decide right now. Yes, we will. We will be saying goodbye to head coach Darwin Little. We will also be saying goodbye to, we'll say goodbye to Jimmy Brown, head scout. We will also say goodbye to, Michael Frazier. Well, I mean, he's not so bad. I suppose we will still say goodbye to him. Yeah, we're just going to let these guys go, I think. DB coach. Ooh. Yeah, no, we're going to let all these guys go. So, thank you all, gentlemen, for your services. I think that is it. Was there a prestige update? That might come right now. Let's see. Oh no. Oh, we got some transfers. I suppose that's not the worst thing in the world. We did not lose any prestige. We're still at 42. So that's something. Now, who all transferred? We have a linebacker who didn't play. Jay Millard is transferring. We have a defensive end who did play a bit. 80 strength, 65 speed. He played in one game, so, whatever. Okay. So we lose a defensive end, a linebacker. We lose a tackle who did not play. Ooh, big ginger. The big gingerbread man. He is gone. Goodbye, Kevin. We lose another strong safety. Getting very thin at that position, although I don't think that guy would have played anyway. We lose a defensive tackle, another linebacker, and another linebacker. Timothy Morris actually did play in 3 games. Just the last 3 games of the year. Guess that wasn't enough to keep him around. So, we lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have some scholarships to work with. I think let's save just in case anything bad happens. And then we're going to advance to the new season. I would like to just press on here and get us right up to kind of the beginning of season 1, which I think this should be it. So let's see. Yep, that is it. So we are officially away from season 0. It's over like a bad dream. We have woken up. It's a new day. It's a new year, a new season. And we got some facility improvements because we saved some money. A few. Oh, we acquired a trait. Wow. I don't know if that's the best one to acquire. I didn't even know they could do that. Interesting. So we had a few guys make some progress, mostly defensive coaches. All defensive coaches. We got some facility improvement. How much improvement did we get? If we look at team info here, we will see Louisiana Ragin Cajuns. Let me look at my note to see what we were working with last year. I think our facilities were like they were a C. So 42 prestige, that's the same. Our average overall, well, we'll look at that once we get our guys signed. Yeah. 41 fan base, now we're down to 38. 25 approval. We're down to 13. Oh dear. 15 bandwagon down to 7. Facilities were a C, and they're still a C. NIL still 37th. So, you know, greatly improved may have been a bit of a stretch, but improved a bit nonetheless. Now, we're in the staff signing phase, and I will tell you right now, I think we'll end this here, but Mr. Darwin Little, thank you. Now, this is a risk. We could have somebody decommit because we fire him. Am I sure I want to fire him? Yes, I am. I am sure. I hope Paul Cox doesn't decommit. He's the only one I care about. Just like that, and he's gone. So I think this is going to be a good time to wrap it up. Oh, let's see our schedule for this coming year. Louisiana, Louisiana Tech, Tulane. All road games this year. Yikes. Oh my goodness. Well, ending the season with Louisiana Monroe. I like that. Glad that worked out that way. Oh boy. Well, we are going to need to make sure this team is improved going into the season because the schedule is going to be very difficult. I think we're going to call it there. Season 0 is over. We're moving on to Season 1. When we return in a week, we will hire a new coach. We will hire a head scout. We will hire a defensive line and defensive backs coach. And we will keep on a truckin'. Season 1 is here. Time to rejoice. Time to see our average talent on the roster improve, we hope. And it's time to get down to business, boys. No more excuses. We didn't have any excuses last year either. We weren't very good. We own that. We own that. We know that was us, but that was the past. Now we're going to stay very briefly in the present, and we're on to the future. And in the future, I promise you, we will be victorious. Go Cajuns. Go Cajuns. The past is the past. Now we're here. We have started to lay a foundation, brick by brick, step by step. We will build this program, this team, into a championship organization that the great city of Lafayette can be proud of. We will climb together to the top of the mountain. We will taste sweet victory. We will be victorious. Go Cajuns. Thanks for watching. Season 1 next. Admiral Adventure is still coming out. Please check that out when it comes out. Still working away on editing those. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.